their way of making wars out to the
Makes it much more interesting if you don't work against it.
And so this is Hideto Suzawa. He works the pirates of Japan, and I'm going to see if I can get them here. And these are the two groups: Pirate Party Japan and Pirate Party Japan. And this is an issue that we have in a lot of countries I'm going to speak to you about, that which is kind of running, because the pirate shouldn't have a copyright. So there should be no problem with two pirate parties in Japan, but they've had big problems. To such an extent that, because they both try and run for elections.
You think for the same book?
So this is the one group, Pirate Party, and here is the other. And you know, they've been almost trying to outdo each other, it seems, by hosting stuff and doing events, and it gets into a sort of issue. Right now, I've been trying to talk with both groups and try and get them together. But again, one group does something that's really good. They record YouTube videos once a month, which is really good. They just sit in someone's apartment, but they sit there and move around the microphone and talk about issues, especially in Japan. Right now, there's a lot of issues with free press in Japan. The government will watch journalists. If they say something they don't like, they'll pressure them to be fired. You might remember there were two Japanese journalists that were abducted by ISIS a couple of years ago and executed. Actually, the Japanese government sent a journalist sort of as a secret to free the other guy, and he got caught. And then the Japanese Prime Minister Abe came here to Israel and announced that he was going to donate billions and billions of dollars to the fight against ISIS. And the next day they executed the two Japanese. And this infuriated the Japanese public. Because he knew they were there. He even sent one of them there. And one of the journalists, there was a big campaign, "I'm not Abe." And one of the journalists said it on TV and got fired.
Is there a place where there were two pirate parties looking for state peace?
Yes. Yeah, so we'll go further west. Okay, so that's enough for Japan. Korea, I haven't heard much from Korea. Have you?
So, nothing.
And China as well. I wouldn't doubt there's groups organizing, but we really don't know too much. Australia, they have two pirate parties as well. One group seems to be one person who is a bit of a troll and often is constantly asking to be a member of the organization, except he doesn't produce the necessary documents to be a member. And the other group left PPI because they were upset about various types of issues.
Nobody really knows about it.
Yeah. In New Zealand, we have the Pirate Party of New Zealand and we have the Internet Party of New Zealand.
Yeah.
Both are members of Pirate Parties International. Internet Party recently. Internet Party was started by Kim.com. And along with Susie Dawson, who's now the leader of the party. I'm not quite sure how much .com is still active. I think he did a lot for publicity to get it. And his basic argument is the government violated the law by doing surveillance to capture him. That they violated loads of surveillance laws, and therefore it's not acceptable to charges against him.
Still in New Zealand?
Still in New Zealand. He's still under house arrest.
Yeah. He's got nothing to do at the moment with the Internet Party of New Zealand.
Okay.
Except that
Susie
he's
Dawson
been founded.
He founded it until about 6 months ago, though until they had the elections. He was very active. And I was in an online meeting with him and various others, with Bryce Barrett, Bear Brown, and
some others,
which is very interesting. And they organized that, a really good digital conference, but they had a terrible election result. Now that
would be a good idea to have a Google Map of the pirate party.
have a what?
Google Map with VPN. The pirate party. Contact users website.
Pirate Party. We don't like working with Google too much, but okay. the internet, the Pirate Party of New Zealand, Andrew Reitmeyer.
Andrew Reitmeyer.
And he says they're not doing too much right now, but he was very big in Pirate Parties International for a long time. And they have no problem with the internet party.
Exactly. They work together.
Right. So then that's great. So there's two parties. One doesn't call itself Pirate, but they are a Pirate Party. And another one that calls itself a Pirate Party, and I think it's gone a little bit down in their influence, but again, they don't have a conflict between them, and that's great. So, East Asia, though, in general, is very limited. I was in India. When I was living in India, I actually contacted the Pirate Party of India and received no responses. But there is a Pirate Party, at least there was there were two Pirate Parties in India. Are either active at this moment?
No contact, always contact.
Again, I wrote to them. I wrote to one of them. It was more the other one. But Southeast Asia is an area where we really have a lot of need. Pirate Party of Russia, though, is active. Nikolai is a member of our board and has been active for a long time.
Yeah, but still not recognized as a party because they are not allowed to be a party because of the name, etc., the history, and blah 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 blah. Russian system.
Okay, but they've been asking, what about the other Soviet republics, former Soviet republics?
Ukraine supposed to be existing, well, we haven't heard of it for quite a while. For the rest, about the same. For the Russian part, former Soviet Union, so to say.
Within Scandinavia, Finland. Pirate Party of Finland as well.
It's quite active on municipal activities, etc. So they do a good job on that.
Sweden, as you all know, is the original Pirate Party.
We're quite active at the moment, preparing for the federal election and municipal elections in September. So they are on the way for that, and we're going to spend forward for the European election, and even seeing well that they will have a real opportunity again in Sweden in 2022.
But right now, do they have any elected officials?
Sorry?
Do they have any elected representatives?
On a municipal basis.
And Norway has been a very active member, thanks to Ray Johansson, who has been very active with Pirate Parties International, as well as their local. They've had a Pirate Party of Norway had sort of recently a sort of a overturn of their board.
Yeah.
So they basically, I think, elect a lot of new people. A lot of the old people left. Sometimes happily, sometimes unhappily, I think.
Yeah.
They, though, have some good infrastructure. They have their own pirate pad set up. They have, they've been assisting us with our new, we've been using Zoom recently, which we don't necessarily like to, but thanks to Ray, who's pushed Zoom on us, which is good for being a video digital communication software, but it is commercial software. They're paying for it, they're letting us use it, but we would prefer an open source solution. Problem is we haven't discovered an open source solution that really works very well. You know, we've been using Mumble for a very long time, and it's nice, it's very low tech. I'll talk about the American Pirate Party uses RTC, it's called. It's just a chat. That's all they're using is a basic chat system.
There used to be a website with 2 windows and a pad.
That's a pirate pad, Piraten pad, and that's Germany it's German, the original Piraten pad, right?
Yeah.
And Norway sort of copied that model.
Yeah.
I think France might also run their own.
Now you're using a different one.
Within Eastern Europe, Turkey was the host of the last Think Twice conference, but I believe they've been suffering from problems with censorship.
They are suffering from problems with censorship, as we've heard some people are massive pirates are, well, so to say, put up somewhere else. So to say, they are safe in jail.
Yeah.
That seems to be the way in Turkey for quite a while now. So we'll be ongoing, unfortunately.
Going through again, we've heard of pirates in Iran, and maybe just quickly we can hear from anyone that knows a little bit, because we have an expressed interest in having a conversation with the Pirate Party of Iran, as sort of pirates make peace. And this would be very interesting for us as the Pirate Party of Israel, especially, to really have a discussion with that group. But we've had no contact.
As far as I know, the parties are illegal in Iran, so they have a group. They're called pirates, called corsairs or something like that. Yeah, that's about it. And,
Okay, well, it might be enough, and even for us to meet in a third country in the future. Even not as an official party, but just individuals representing pirate ideology and who believe that all this government conflict is stupid.
As we have had that in the past, for example, that time, problems with Tunisia, so people just showed up individually, not up front camera, behind the scenes, but they were there at conferences. So the conference had been established somehow that way.
Rafam is in Tunisia.
Rafam is now
Yeah, he lives there.
one of founders, and the candidate for the parliament is in Tunisia now.
He goes all around. He's based in Tunisia, but he's an artist.
While we're talking about Tunisia,
Once he was kidnapped in Libya
while we're talking about Tunisia and the issue
by Gaddafi.
of two parties,
It's and he was tortured like
Who released him with the private jet?
yeah, Lieberman, like yeah, what the right-wing politicians in Israel, who is now the Minister of Defense.
Oligarch. Private jet. They arrested him a few days before
For the yeah,
their visit. Rafam is one of the founders.
of the Pirate Party of Israel.
Before being arrested there as a spy, he was taking pictures of Jewish graveyards.
And he was, and he's the head of the slow food organization in Israel.
He was arrested in his life. He was arrested both for being refusing to go to Israeli military and
for supporting supposedly the Israeli military.
doing art.
There are two pirate parties also in Tunisia, besides our Israeli pirate in Tunisia. There is the Pirate Party of Tunisia and the Tunisian Pirate Party. Samir Aouli, and he belongs
to the original one.
and they were elected as well, correct?
He was not that time elected. He was minister of missing the title. So to say vice minister for youth and stuff like that. But he stepped down shortly after, and he just went out of jail, being in that office. That time after Arab Spring, he stepped down because of protest, because they didn't do the right thing at that very moment. So he gave that as a sign. And that party still exists, and Sami Anoui, after in December, stepped up for re-elections to supplementary re-elections for those Tunisian being represented by those living in Germany. So, but he didn't win.
Okay. And he's been very active in PPI. He was also a board member at one point. Yeah. I thought he signed as
No, he was
okay. Well, he's been active. I know because I've communicated with him. They run a sort of a mailing list that seems to be a bit active that I'm a member with. Even though I can't read most of what they're sending.
I think PBI should have a list of official pirates and unofficial pirates.
That's difficult to.
Anyone
So
who's
we
not
do-
TV, anyone who's not official.
So we sort of have that. We actually have that.
Categorized.
Yeah. In a way, we do have it.
So we do that. We have members and non-members.
Yeah, I know, but I think that the PPI should support parties that are registered and are running for the elections, because otherwise it defeats the purpose. Because, like, for example, in Israel, we had this group that claimed to be the real pirate party. We had a group that claimed to be the real pirate party, but they were not registered, and actually we found out that
They were manipulated by other
by other parties.
to
to disturb us basically, and
Not
they
only disturbed, they legally tried
to stop us from
from
registering,
not
and
because they didn't have really good intention, but they did even worse than what they meant.
no, but they did approach the PPI, and they were in contact with the PPI, so they could say, "Hey, we are pirates, we are recognized," and that disturbed us a lot. Like we can't go to the Israeli public and say, like we are the
Maybe it's
party.
better to be recognized as a non-party.
They
by
should.
PPI. Maybe you should find a way for activists who are not.
Well, maybe we do need to categorize groups. And again, some groups, one of the problems is some groups are a registered party and then they turn back into just a collective movement. There's a lot of variation. It's very difficult to keep up. In Japan especially as well, like for example, then where one of the groups was a registered party and then went out, and then the other group tried to be a registered party, and that's where the conflict happened. And so that is...
Maybe it should be organized around elections, not around groups.
It's even more difficult. The intention of PPI at the beginning was to see that even almost inofficial groups, because they could register or whatever, would be accepted as it is, as an entity. So that way we follow for quite a while, knowing it is difficult to follow up, because people tend to get lost at some point for reasons we don't know, because we don't have the capacity to check up front what's really going on. Even seeing if that's a real party, normally you should need to go there and check it on place, on site, so to say. It's almost impossible. So there needs to be some trust given. Trust needs to be as well of the wrong shots. So it's a process, and I believe at the moment it's consolidating within the PPI to see where parties are and where non-parties are, or where just, so to say, some NGO exists meant to be a pirate or pirate me or whatever, being a member to PPI or working with PPI, not being a member. It's all possible.
It'd be useful to have a calendar of elections and to try and organize
different
groups around elections.
We do have a calendar of elections.
Do you remember the tool from yesterday?
For example, before the elections here, we did approach the PPI and the pirates from the world, and I think like that. Who was elected back then? There were pirates in Germany in the Senate, but also there were maybe in Sweden. Did they ever get elected there?
Sorry?
In Sweden?
No, they were in the European Parliament.
They were in the European Parliament, right? They were in the European Parliament,
Non-federal.
and okay, but we did ask them to come here before the elections and show like that we would show, that there is something like real going on. Because we did give a lot of interviews to the media here, to the everywhere, and we always claimed to be part of an international movement, but we never could show anything, except saying that,
I see.
So, okay. Anyway, yes, Kit.
Okay, no, we did have up here before the elections. I was just looking for it again. It's down the upcoming elections. We had listed each party and when the upcoming elections
that was
were.
the old wiki.
That was the old wiki, so we need to set that up again.
On the different pages, and we might have some nice tools for the future to see that that is being kept up to date by a lot of parties.
And again, I'm trying to see if we had it up here until like a couple months ago.
Yep.
But that needs to be updated again. But that is really important. And often a lot of parties will contact us when they're having an election to try and just, whatever we can do to share information about their upcoming elections, put it on our social media. I just put up for Pirate Party of Amsterdam their announcement.
By the way, are there now any representatives in the European Parliament or no?
Yep. There's Julia Redder from Parliament of Germany.
Julia, okay.
And she's also part of the Green faction. Also, so to say, being vice chair to the Greens.
Okay, So there are several groups within the European Parliament. There is the Liberal Democrats, that,
They're in there, but
and,
they're
and
well, not with us.
right, and then there are the Greens, and there are different kinds of groups that are not affiliated with one party, but many parties are cooperating within this group, and then it's bigger than what it is. So and those groups in the European Parliament are entitled to hold conferences inside the Parliament in Brussels, Strasbourg.
Especially if each individual being elected to the Parliament.
Right. So, what is more natural than holding a pirate conference in the European Parliament and have all the representatives from all the pirate parties in the world coming and and talking in the European Parliament?
I would have liked to have that, but didn't work out for reasons not in our hands.
But you said they are from Germany.
Yeah.
So talk to them in Deutsch. Yeah.
Responsible
Say
for that
1, 2, 3 und.
responsible for it is the elected candidate. The elected candidate says that he's a member of the European Parliament.
Yeah. Okay.
So
we have to somehow aspire to do that. Like it would be like really great.
So, and just going back to our world map in pirates, out of Africa, other than Tunisia, which has been somewhat active,
Morocco disappeared.
yes, Morocco disappeared, and they're gone. The rest of Africa, South Africa was supposedly had a party, but I've never heard anything from them. The entire continent of Africa seems to be relatively pirateless, other than the Somali pirates, who are quite active.
They called me a few times. So they said we want from the media.
Give you $1 million?
Interview about the Somali pirate. I told them it's not election. When you're serious, contact me.
And I believe some Kenyan pirates want to deposit millions of dollars in our bank account just to give us some information quickly. So Africa, even though it's maybe historically known as a very pirate-friendly continent, is at the moment politically not aligned too well with pirate movement, but there could be a lot of opportunity. Could be a lot of opportunity for us to go down there.
American refugees.
Right.
Pirates of the refugees.
Yeah. Actually, I'd like to talk a little about the refugees later because that's an issue that I worked with a lot in the whole issue of now that they're sending refugees back from Israel. There's a big hot topic in Israel right now, but that's another story. In Middle East as well, again, we've heard of maybe some groups like we were saying with Iran, but we really don't have any contact. But Europe has always been the main pirate center, where it all started and where it all tends to run. Having an event outside of Europe, as you can tell, is very difficult. Even where we're here, it's somewhere where we have still low-cost airlines from Europe. And this is something that we really need to coordinate. TT3 Pirate Party of the European Union, again, is active. I know Thomas is involved. We are not in Israel. We are not a member of TT3. We've thought about it, but we're kind of wondering. From Western Europe, though, Austria, we've had a lot of contact with them. They did not run in their last election, but they do have an active presence. They said they were going to help us with our video campaign, which is something that didn't work out. This is, again, creating social media videos. We want to create for activism. And I'll go back to this page here.
Hello?
Belgium have any other type of activity?
כן, מי זה? לא. כן, מי את? אוקיי, אל תתקשרו אליי יותר. ביי.
actually, I think at one point they had three. But party. Pirate Party in Spain. And then the Galicia or whatever have its own party. What is the third one? And is that still working? But their email stopped working.
Formerly in existence.
And the Pirate Party is staying in Spain.
Plus the contract is still very active. But has a lot of problems. About the independent stuff.
And one of the issues when with PBI is that you split the vote if you have two parties in one country. Which, for practical concerns, is usually not necessary. I don't. We've almost never, only with Catalonia, I think, if we ever had the situation where we had to split the vote.
Next was New Zealand.
Okay.
So they've constant vote.
But they didn't. But when the Internet Party came, Pirate Party of New Zealand just gave them their half a vote, so they didn't split the vote. Okay. So next on the list is Denmark went out of existence. They
closed down the party.
closed down the party.
Why would they do that?
That has closed down, the rest remain are accepted well because the party is supposed to do it. There's another party which is part of the line, unless you have
We have model for parties that have no energy, which is to go neutral and just look for the slope. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, it's better than just the clothes here.
So it says Finland, France, and this is where we also have the Pirate Lobby and the Pirate Party of France. Both are very active. Both are members of TPI. Both are paying members of TPI, which is, or actually, Pirate Lobby did not. Pirate Party of France did. They're observing. Okay, they're still observing members, but they seem to be doing a lot of good advocacy work. Yeah, but they seem to have no conflicts between them, and that's really good. And I think it's a really good model when you have two parties. And one might focus on something like a certain type of legal activism, whereas another party will focus on elections or something like this. And it's really good to divide and
that is definitely given. And in each state, we also have, so to say, a power party by itself. Even going down to counties or wherever. So, how many organizations?
How many members do you have?
Around 10,000 at the moment.
10,000?
Around 10,000.
Okay.
So it's declined over the years. So we are now at grey level again. We have been in about 2009, which were about 10,000 members as well.
And as for the polls, like where do you stand?
For polls?
Yeah, in the polls. Like what's your number?
The best number?
In the polls or in
No, in the polls, not in the elections. It's like
the
what
polls,
was
I believe that was
you
Berlin
have a poll.
that time. It was 10 point whatever.
Sorry?
That must have been Berlin years ago.
Yeah.
With 10 point something or
10 point
whatever.
something.
Did you have more in the polls than you got or less?
No, less.
The polls were less.
Yeah. But we had potential, so our polls measured the actual result and then the potential. Like if everybody who's considering your party voted for you, then how much would you get?
The maximum.
Yeah. So the max was like 14%, and we got almost 11, so we got almost all the voters.
Sounds good.
How many people voted? How many voted in Czech?
I think it's some 5%. I think 5 million people voted or something like that.
5 million voted in the elections or for the
No,
pirate?
in the elections.
And,
We have a country of 10 million, and we got little
About 600.
600,000.
Yeah.
If you had any,
Or so probably more people voted.
if you had any subgroups, for example, young pirates or other types of subgroups, so it's just a one cohesive group.
Yeah. This is what the intention is.
And there's been no other groups of people
that call themselves pirates, but
pirates
they
or-
have nothing to do with you, and they said that you are not a pirate party.
I mean, there might be some former members.
Trolls.
Really, trolls probably, but not really. Like there is no group that could like others.
I always thought that the Czech people are really cool. Yeah.
And we're trying to, and of course there are differences of opinion on many things, but you're trying to accommodate everybody into the group and give everybody some, like room to breathe.
Yeah.
So
Checks and balances.
Yeah, checks and balances.
Sorry about the pun.
Okay, so Italy. I know Italy. Our website is no longer working, but we're still in communication with.
They are alive and well.
Etc. Some people are still around.
And Italy also has a good activist scene. A lot of people that would support, I believe, the pirate movement, especially in cities like Bologna, where it's kind of an activist, really left-wing crowd.
But in Italy, they have the 5 stars, no?
Yeah.
Which is, in a way, talk to the same electorate and takes everything. Maybe we should be in touch with them. I don't know.
Holland. We mentioned briefly. We spoke with from Matthijs from Pirate Party of Amsterdam the other day. I actually went to Holland and had a meeting with the Pirate Party of Holland about 2 years ago, and we talked about this conference. This is where this conference comes from. This meeting, and then.
Did you bring souvenirs from Holland?
And then I smoked them all.
You know that when Czech joined the EU, they had to choose their drugs policy, and they chose the Dutch. It's pretty much legal, like right? Do it?
You?
No, you.
Us? No. Well, it's you can still get fined if you get caught.
You get a fine.
Fine.
Yeah, you get a fine.
That's fine.
No, you don't get arrested.
No, and they don't really catch anybody. There is huge tolerance there.
So a lot of the members that I knew from Pirate Party of Holland have actually left the party now, and I know there are still people really active, and they had a big campaign with election where they had a while ago. They didn't succeed, but they did make some really good videos and did get some global attention.
Maybe you should do I don't know, maybe there is, but like collection of videos of different parties that we can
Splice together and
or even
pirate them.
Hebrew translation or English translation and show it in all the other work. Everyone can translate foreign videos there. It's a lot of work making videos. Some other.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit more about the video campaign. We made a few videos, but they were so low quality. It was basically people speaking in front of a webcam that it almost didn't deserve to be promoted.
The parties, if one of them makes a good video, then it should be passed around to everyone else.
Yeah, and just dub it over.
Yeah, not dub, but
So we can have like some
subtitles.
We have few good videos.
Right, we do actually.
We have like really brilliant videos.
Yeah. Oh, you might want to speak about how we had the problem where we used the Doors music and the copyright issue.
We use the Doors music with the copyright issue. We got
Now
threat.
it's in the public domain, and it's part of the history of the democracies in the Middle East.
We in our commercial we played one of the Doors songs in the background.
Not commercial, it was an ad, a public ad.
TV commercial though. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay, just going through Poland. I know nothing from the Polish Fire Party.
Where are the polls say?
Nothing from polls. Well, we had a conference in 2015 in Poland, so there are still some activists around there as a folk party, but I believe that's merely around Warsaw and distributed to which some rural areas. So I believe at the moment active people below 10.
Switzerland. Our current Guillaume Saoli is co-chair of the Pirate Party of Switzerland and also the chairperson of Pirate Parties International. I know they as well do a lot of, and they also have some local elected officials. Is that correct?
Yep.
So how come he's not here?
That's a big question. That's a very big question. And a disappointment because he was supposed to be. Pirate Party of United Kingdom. They basically did a Brexit. they exited Pirate Parties International, and basically recently I've tried to have some talks with them. I don't know exactly what the deal is, but it was at the same time as Brexit, so that really was the we're no longer into international collaboration anymore, which was kind of funny.
Maybe we should have maybe we should have another like organization like the PPI, but the
I think if anything, we should have fewer
no, but I mean like the
bringing up
right. No, I mean like the former people like parties that exited. There is the Canadian
The graduates. PPI
graduates, PPI and PPI graduates. Yes.
So,
And also pre-PPI. We can do open two more organizations. And we can have them fighting each other, saying which one.
why don't we just name a few groups VIPs and get this stuff?
VIPP.
VIP. Okay, so some of the parties that we've forgotten over. Belarus is recent. I've had a lot of contact with them. They were very concerned about staying involved with PPI because they thought they really had to pay their dues, and I explained that they don't have to. And then they were very interested. So I've been continuing to communicate with them. Greece, who missed our list, but they've showed up at our GAs. Can you share just anything about Pirate Party of Greece? Anything you might
Not
know?
really, no. There was one that there were two, and well, I think they're active in a couple of unions.
how well are they doing in the polls? Either of them?
They didn't participate in the last three
But
elections.
They did it before and it cost a lot of money.
There's already two of them.
Yeah, there were elections.
Only one running.
Yeah.
So and they had support from the other one.
Yeah. And there were three elections every 6 months. There were elections.
Yeah, so they participated and they had to pay all for the voting ballots themselves. So they had to print the paper, so to say. They got the paper, but only have to pay for the print. So to say, no money, no running for elections.
I think
And they aren't allowed to gather money from the outside as well.
Cyprus. So have you guys never run an election, right?
No, never.
Is it on your map or something that you guys are planning on doing?
No, actually, we're more of a movement, in the sense of things. So we're not, but there were thoughts of registering as partner and participating. We're still in the process of figuring things out.
What does it take to?
That's a good approach. That's definitely a approach that I'd recommend.
What does it take to register as a party and participate in the election?
When?
No, what does it take? What do you need to do?
2,000 euros, 2,000 signatures.
2,000 euros and 2,000 signatures.
Which is fine, but we need a bit more than just money and signatures.
Yeah.
It's an election that has to do with political frameworks and alliances.
Although, how many people are in Cyprus?
The population, the general population. Well, the free part is around 1 million, and there's an estimate of 200,000 occupied territories. And the population is quite diverse. You have Greek Cypriots, Turkish Cypriots, Maronites, Russians, and other. They have quite a percentage of the population. They're not marginal groups. So that's why our website was translated into Greek, Turkish, English, Russian. That's about it.
And what is the threshold for getting into the parliament, the government?
It used to be 1%. Now it's at 4%.
4% from 1 to 4?
Yeah, that was something that was voted last year in order to prevent the Nazi party to entering the election under that pretext. They increased the bar, but they still entered the parliament and
made it life more difficult for the Pirate Party.
Yeah, but I think your elections are a lot easier for us. But it's something we're still in the process, and we're fermenting at the moment. We'll have a.
That's a good strategy.
And how do you communicate? Is it through social media, or do you have video conferences, any type of or physical meetings?
Physical meetings on IRC. We have a channel, yeah.
You have an IRC channel.
And we're a cross-border party. We have some both. I don't know if that's a good channel.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
Are there other cross-borders parties?
We'd be happy for a Palestinian.
Yes, we try so hard to work with Arabs and with Palestinians.
We have a lot of Palestinian friends that have joined with us.
No, but they are
So their own
Israeli
political
Arabs.
framework is problematic.
No, those are Arabs who are Israelis. We would like to have somebody from, yes.
Well, yesterday's what's his name again? The speaker yesterday,
Anan?
the Mosaic artist.
Yeah, but he can't. He can maybe register for elections.
How many political are there in Palestine? Because I know there's Fatah, Hamas, and Hamas. But
And I guess a lot of the other groups are illegal, so.
Yeah, it's very violent. It's very, very violent. Actually, when we ran for
Democratic means are
that's why we're called the pirates.
no, when we ran for the elections here in Jerusalem, we tried really hard because they are allowed to vote for the Jerusalem, for the municipality.
East Jerusalem is not for national.
Yes, and
So East Jerusalem can take part.
yes, no, they can.
Municipal, not national.
No, but in the municipal, for example, they can vote, they can participate, and they don't. They boycott the elections. And basically, they are at least third of the population. They could take the mayor if they would be.
So then do they have Israeli citizenship or do they?
No, most of them not. They have like residency.
I see.
They have residency, but they can vote in the municipal elections in Jerusalem, and they can vote for the Palestinian parliament.
I see.
So they are Palestinian citizens, but they can vote for the Jerusalem municipality. And we tried. Like we tried really, really hard. Like we went there day after day. We met people, and some were very nice. But eventually, in the last moment, nobody did anything. And when we were talking to them and asked them what's going on, said that they are afraid.
Well, still, though, would this be the right strategy to capture the vote nationally? Because it would create a lot of friction. So just saying it's like it might be short-sighted anyway. Like you could get Jerusalem, but you're not gonna get any vote outside. It's just and you might. Get
Well, we only ran then for the municipality in Jerusalem, and when we ran for the national elections for the parliament, for the Knesset, we did have a lot of Arab activists, like our members.
One on the list we put a guy who is a resident, the resident. They didn't accept him to the parliament
Because he was not a citizen. Because only citizens can be candidates
Oh, so you have to be an Israeli citizen
to run for the
to
election.
run. But you can vote even if you're a resident.
No.
The parliament, no.
For the
No,
parliament,
I mean for the city.
for the city, you can vote and run.
I see. Okay.
You can vote, and anybody that lives in Jerusalem can vote and run. But for the parliament, you need to be a citizen. Now, Arabs in Israel are citizens. They can vote and they can run, and they vote only for Arab parties. For some reason, they would not cross the lines.
I understand here at the active. It was, Hadash was initially a party that was designed to be a union of Jews and Arabs as a political party, and they're in government right now. But what happened eventually
In
is
the parliament, they're not.
sided. I'm sorry, in parliament, not in the coalition. They sided eventually with the other Arab parties. They formed a coalition with the other Arab parties who were more extreme
Muslim,
right
yeah.
wing.
Like the communists in Israel have joined with the Muslim party. And the reason for that was the raise of the threshold. Israel raised the threshold, and it forced them to join forces. And well, yes. Okay, is there?
Okay, let's go back to around the world. Just to move. We can come back to Israel later. Luxembourg actually did us a big favor and hosted our bank account when our Belgian bank account went invalid, and they did for several years. They hosted our finances, which was very thankful.
How much did they have to hold? Was it heavy?
It was about, I think we had about 300 euros.
Thank you, Luxembourg, for holding that.
Which for most people in Luxembourg is maybe an hour's wage. But they do have a party that's active. And that's good. In other Eastern European countries, Serbia, for example, had the Pirate Party of Serbia and then the Internet Party, or the Internet Pirate Party of Serbia. Both parties seem to have gone extinct. It's not quite clear. Other places in Eastern Europe as well. I don't know. This is Slovenia runs. It's Rok Andre. He's very, very active and does a lot of stuff with Pirate Times.
I had to drive us.
And they were doing a marijuana legalization campaign recently. They were trying to collect a lot of international support. They were doing a lot of good stuff. Slovakia is listed here, but I don't know anything of Slovakia's.
Maybe
party.
Steve knows.
Slovakia is in the first formation, but I'm not involved. But I know there are some checks.
They have to talk since just a few weeks ago. Some parliamentarians went down and they're in discussion what to do, what to hold, whatever.
Again, there's other parties here: Portugal, Romania, that I don't have too much contact with. Maybe anyone else does. Ireland as well. They were one of the original founding members.
Ireland is just extinct for years now, and declared extinct as well.
But they were one of the original former members of Pirate International. And that basically covers Europe. So let's just go over the Western Hemisphere now. I attended their last, which is again just an IRC chat, but they had about 10 people there. And Liz Gorski is that's her correct last name.
Yeah.
Is the chairperson right now, and they run. There's about 10 different state parties. Massachusetts, who spoke with us, New York. I know Illinois has one, although I haven't had success. I'm technically an Illinois resident, so I investigated. They, from what I know, have not run in any elections. But it's not off the table.
Some of them went for campaigns and did all the stuff about the computers, so what to do with computers, how to secure it, etc. So that was happening for sure. For some of the hard bodies even have conferences to invite others. So I believe, especially Massachusetts.
Yeah, and I just another point on the UN that I want to bring up, and in my conversations with U.S. Pirate Party. In there is we are looking for representatives to attend the UN ECOSOC meetings in New York and in Geneva. And I've been writing to all the pirate leader organizations, telling people we've got 6 ground passes in each location, and in Vienna for that matter, although they don't normally have meetings there. And they just have to send me their details, and please go to the meetings on our behalf. That would be great. So maybe the Czech Pirate Party would be interested in attending a meeting in Geneva. On behalf of ECOSOC. The ECOSOC. So ECOSOC is the Economic and Social Commission for the United Nations. So a lot of different issues of women's rights, of promoting lower class people.
And entry cards even for other branches within the United Nations.
And I've been that's why I contacted the U.S. Pirate Party, is to try mainly to get their collaboration in attending the New York United Nations meetings.
I can do it.
I know you can go, and that's one, but we have 6 ground passes, okay?
So let's do it.
Take 3.
Yes. For each fin. No, but really.
So what? The wife, the kids. There we go. We got
I
four.
have 2 kids. Right
But besides that, going back, there's also a New York Pirate Party, which is an observer member still of Pirate Parties International, run by a guy named Jay. I forget his last name. I've had no communication with him, and I know that they don't have good communication between the U.S. Pirate Party and the Pirate Party in New York.
We had communication last year, but we never show up again. They had some internal.
Yeah, so the New York Pirate Party and the rest of the U.S. pirate parties are not collaborating. This is another conflict.
Yeah.
Why not?
They don't.
Goes deep into the history of USPP.
They believe, like,
How much history is
the New York Pirate Party believe that they hijacked, the U.S. Pirate Party basically hijacked pirates in America. And I don't know, there's been all sorts, I don't know all the details, but they definitely do not get along.
You know, I wonder.
It's going down to 2 names I want to show up, being in quarrel with each other. So it's more a personal issue than a pirate issue.
You know,
But it went into the party.
how successful do you expect your organization to be if, like, especially in a 2-party system like the US, if you can't even, get along under a single flag? Like,
Exactly.
that's just,
But again, what I think is happening a lot of the time is some of these parties, it's very dominated by 1 or 2 people who develop a conflict with another group, and these are just people that you can't work with.
That's why Ohad is going to talk about horizontal decision making.
So let's just keep moving to Canada. I was also recently in Canada, and I met with Bailey Lamont, who's the president of Pirate Party of Canada. They also have had a recent issue where they did not register in time their party, so they are not eligible for the next election, but they have run in elections in the past. What is the other?
Why they are not eligible? They didn't register in time?
They just
Re-register.
didn't re-register in time.
Well, can you imagine that we always registered on time?
And the last day.
And the last, but we did.
So,
I think, and we have a website. Our website is on. We are in touch with people in the world. Maybe except the Czech and the German and the Icelandic party, we are doing pretty well. We don't do nothing, but we are doing pretty well. We make peace. We run under the same flag.
Travis McCree is so they have a president who's Bailey and the chairperson who's Travis.
Nice title.
As well, Travis had this big announcement that he's leaving Pirate Parties International, and he's been very opposed to the idea of the international movement recently, even though he was at one point the president, the chairperson of Pirate Parties International. Go figure. And at the same time, they nominated the president to be the chairperson in the same meeting.
How many parties worldwide are there?
So there's probably about 50 parties worldwide. And there's probably about 40 who are active in Pirate Parties International. Yeah.
That's
Election
good.
On average, once every 4 years. It means that
40 parties. We have
election every month.
Pretty
something
much.
like that.
No, because not all the parties are running for election. So I would say probably only about 15,
Three, 4 a year.
probably about 15 of the parties run actually in elections.
Still a lot,
3, 4, 5 a year.
We probably about that. Although if you count municipal elections, then there's a lot more.
Yeah.
So
It's also
and
Yeah,
honestly,
like,
for a group
There
of
is no doubt that the PPI should be much more established and should, do.
just connecting information. Also.
well, another issue is it's an umbrella organization with no real funds and workers. So we're all just volunteers, activists, trying to do our
Yeah.
best, announcing whatever events we can, but really getting collaboration.
So it's also hard to contact everyone and ask what they're doing.
Yes, and when the Secretary General is doing so much work for the PPI instead for the PPIL, our best activist is working for the PPI.
I know. But I'm making us famous, guys. Come on. All right, so Mexico. I just so there was a Mexican pirate party, and recently another person from Mexico contacted me and said she's got a group of pirates and they want to form a party, but they're wondering about this other pirate party in Mexico. They've been writing to them, and they get no response. And I said, you know what? There's no copyright in being a pirate. Start a party. Hopefully you can get in contact with other people in the future.
The unifying force of history will bring you all into their embrace.
And I sent her all the forms for becoming a member with us and said anything we needed, and I'm hoping she'll get back to us. I even invited her to speak at this conference, but that's how it goes.
Like it should have been the international conference of the Pirate Party.
Well, it is.
Yes, it is. You know.
Okay, so Central America, virtually nothing that I know of. Can anyone update me on anything more?
Brazil is quite active.
That's not Central America, though.
Sorry?
Central America, these countries.
Costa Rica, Nicaragua.
I've been there, but I did not find any pirates.
This is the map of where you've been.
Yes, it is.
Kit was going to look
That's actually quite true. I was there. That's exactly where I was. Did you see?
The pirate's locator.
Yes.
He's an
Pirates are
All the
anthropologist.
places he's visited, like that's where the pirates
He's
started.
he's a sociologist and anthropologist.
Or at least
Pirates
one
have
of
been in
them.
80 countries, and so have I. Venezuela. Recently, we've had some talks with Venezuela, and that's a very interesting scenario due to the recent problems.
They're developing.
Yeah, they're developing, and it would be really good because that's an area that really needs a lot of assistance right now. Brazil. Dan is now a member with us in PPI. What's Dan's full name?
Yeah.
Dan. Dan is a really cool guy. He stays up late at night to participate in meetings, and he's really active. And he's done a lot with Bitcoin and digital currencies. You probably find discussions interesting with Dan. All this, and they were talking about creating the pirate coin.
Yeah.
So
We have a digital coin called check.
Yeah. We should have a loot.
okay, Peru as well is supposed to have a party, but I have no contact with them. Does anyone know anything about the pirate party of Peru?
Absolutely nothing.
Same goes for Argentina and Chile, and I have had contact with Argentina and Chile, but I don't know too much about what they're doing.
Chile is quite active at the moment. They're discussing to be an NGO, not going to be a party. So they're pretty much active, and there are a lot of contacts even to Argentina at the moment. Within Latin America, so there is some exchange ongoing at the moment. They are upbuilding, so to say, even maybe a Latin American sub-branch or PPI to have some common basis on what they talk to.
Okay, so there's a pirate channel for South American pirates in Telegram that is really active. It's called like Las Piatas or something to that extent. On Telegram, I can get you the link if anyone needs. Conversations in Spanish about
Depends.
yeah, but you can post in English there too. They seem to communicate primarily through Telegram. And that is about it. Did I forget a continent or something? Antarctica? Do we have any penguin pirates? Space any pirate? Are there any pirates in space?
Space.
No, on the moon, anywhere? Island pirates. Come on, pirates should be islands. Anything in Cuba and any of these islands that we.
I know people with space.
Sir Francis Drake, a real pirate. He lived in the British Virgin Islands. Great channel there.
Another idea. When we were registering PPI, we registered it in Switzerland just because our chairperson had the resources to set up the bank account again for us and everything, make it proper party, proper organization again. A party or a non-profit organization. But one of the things I almost regret on that is we really could have set ourselves up in a obscure island where we could have avoided all of the red tape that normally goes along with it. Where maybe we could bring activists and bring people that need to leave their country for being a pirate, and that this would have maybe had some more symbolic value.
Yes.
Even if we weren't even physically located there, just to say we've
What about
conquered this
Tuvalu?
island.
Why not? Tuvalu. They have the .tv. They're active against ocean.
Yeah, but where there's some historically
Global
pirates.
warming. Tuvalu is the sea is almost covering them. They're practically land pirates. The land is gonna sink.
That's the Pitcairn Island is one of them.
And
Nepean
they're-
County is there.
And I think their government website is on Wikipedia. I think and their main source of income is .tv.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. You can open an account in Tuvalu. Right down and up. They're very
Yes.
pirates. They could be good pirates.
Yes.
There's like 30,000 people there.
And they are a country?
Like our Czech
Yeah.
colleague said, it's better to make a bigger impact than a small. Pirates.tv.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Okay. The first operative decision, contact the TV people.
Okay, I hope I was taking notes before. I hope someone's been taking notes a little bit on this. Otherwise, we'll have to watch the video. Well, it's recording, and then he's gonna transcribe everything I said. Thank you so much, Oleg.
Google speech recognition.
So again, just some other ideas.
What about the moon? Did you see Google Moon? No pirates there?
I mean, you might see
No.
one in the image. There's a few things I see. Maybe it's on the dark side of the moon, right? We can't see them. I think one of the things we really need to do, though, is set up a common.
Yeah.
Really,
the other
just-
side. So, are there any other pirate parties in the world that we didn't talk about?
Off the top of my head, I think we went through the majority.
Can I ask China? Do you know about China? Because I heard there was a group.
I saw a Facebook group,
Yeah.
but I've had no communication. And I wonder if we did have communication, how their English would be.
Jordan, Egypt, Syria, Lebanon.
Lebanon. There is one.
Lebanon? Yeah. PPI in contact?
That
So
would-
maybe the
No.
Cyprus pirates can be a bridge between the pirates in Israel to the pirates in Lebanon or in other countries that are
we could have our next
Mediterranean.
conference there. We could get this meeting together.
Let's talk about
In
the
Cyprus.
Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Mediterranean. No?
Well, just like the old days.
Yeah. Let's do in Cyprus.
Oh,
Pirates
hey,
of the
you
Mediterranean.
gotta have pirates from Malta. And then pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, no, that's
Where across the ocean from?
No,
Do you know
but
where
seriously.
that comes from? It comes from the Knights of Malta. When they sailed, that was their flag. Blow you away.
No, but seriously, we can keep in touch and maybe we can do something in Cyprus together.
Well,
They're cool.
We can swim there basically.
Yeah, okay. Swimming competition. Swim for peace.
Paddle there.
Hey,
Not such a good swimmer. So
I actually did it once. I hitchhiked and I went through Cyprus. When I arrived Israel, I was arrested immediately. Because I came
You
into.
can try makeshift boats with the pirate logo on the sail.
You can do it in the Sea of Galilee, maybe. we can have the resources.
why be complicated? Just doing the Dead Sea. We're not going to build such a good boat.
Everything
It's going to
floats
float
in the
anyway.
Dead Sea, you don't have to do anything.
It's true, the Pirates of the Dead Sea. That will be. Okay, so. All right.
All right. So actually, we were supposed to speak today about online governance and this issue, but I think and we also supposed to speak the last time about open democracy. So maybe we're gonna just a few last words, and we'll take a break, and then we'll reconvene with hopefully we'll have some more visitors, because I think a lot other people we told to come in the afternoon when they finish
Yeah, we
work.
told people that you and I will speak after 5.
So Steve will push you a little back a little bit further, and that way we'll hopefully have some more people there.
it's already 3, no?
Yeah, but I think around 5 o'clock then we're gonna have people
Yeah,
come in.
okay, let's eat something.
So, all right, do we break to eat something right now?
I think
Yeah.
so. Come back here for
Okay.
have coffee.
Come back here at 4.
4:30.
Let's do
By
the.
5 we.
I would
Alright.
like to share the Lumio Red Mind and all the. I don't have we have our liquid feedback set up right now, but since it's not kind of irrelevant. But some of the different tools that we've developed, would like to develop further, would like to use further for collaborating and making decisions.
What's the idea?
For the friend.
Oh, I don't remember the name of it. It was a cool thing to make a fast.
So when we come back, we'll have some more informal with the computer. We'll just show some of the programs I'll show from in our Redmine and our Lumio. And we can just, right. And if Dan's
Yeah, Dan just want to talk about the digital
hey, what about
currency for the
Ofer? Is
piper.
he coming back?
Yeah, he
Ofer
comes
was
at
here
5.
This morning didn't see too many people and left. And then Lola, of course.
Lola speaking? Are you speaking?
And then, of course, the highlight of our conference, the baby debate.
Baby debate.
Okay, so why don't we break for late lunch then?
Sure.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone.
Are we gonna go to the shoot? Do you guys want to go or do you want to do?
Wow. I'll eat anything really.
What?
I said I would eat anything. Yeah, hummus is a great